So today on the program, we are speaking with the Honourable Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Architect Olamilekan Adegbite. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
All the works that's been going on in the ministry, we're interested in knowing how the ministry is using the works here to empower young persons in Nigeria and encourage more youth participation.
Thank you so much. Most of our programs are youth focused. I'll just reel out a few examples. For instance, now, to add value to what we are producing from mining, we try to have this what we call downstream policy. That is, there must be value addition to whatever is mined in Nigeria. So we do not export raw out of Nigeria. So we do some beneficiation, so to say. For instance, in the area of gemstones, we have a lot of gemstones in Nigeria, and there's an informal market out of Ibadan where people come from all walks of life, all over the world, to buy our gemstones. But they buy the gemstones in the raw form, and we lose all the value. Because all they have to do to the gemstone is cut it and polish it, and then the value magnifies astronomically. We are losing that. So what have we done to mitigate that? We've got our youth together, and they're in training even as we speak in Abuja here. We've got what we call trainers, about one person per state in the minimum. There are a total of about 46 of them, so it's more than one ultimately, but at least one for every state, who will become a trainer for other trainers. And these are youths that we're training in the act of stone faceting and polishing, that's cutting and polishing. This is targeted at the youth. And we're also doing some empowerment along with that. As we train them, we give them equipment. Same thing, we are training youths in the act of making jewelry. We have a lot of gold. We export the gold to Dubai, they turn it into jewelry. You are a very good example. You know, this gold could have been from Zamfara or from Malaysia. But then when you want to, your husband will go to Dubai souk and buy the gold. So we're building a souk in Kano, a gold souk. So that where we add value to our own gold, and this also targeted at the youth. And so many of our programs like that we're doing here is targeted at the youth to create employment and to create engagement. So we're training, we're giving facilities at the same time, and so to make sure that the youth benefit maximally from this.
How much awareness is being done about this? I remember growing up in Jos specifically. I know Jos is a place that's, while growing up, we were told there are a lot of gemstones, a lot of mineral resources there, and of course, Teen City as we know it. The kinds of thoughts I used to have then, like thinking, wow, Nigeria is going to be that kind of place where we have the kind of things that you are talking about. I think, kind of like died down in me. I think the awareness is really not
Well,
there.
what happened was, you see, Nigeria was so overshadowed by oil and gas. So we did not give prominence to any other thing. We're earning good money from oil and gas. So we did not bother to develop other fields, which is what we are doing now. So that's why the awareness is coming back gradually. But what had happened, like you said, before the advent of oil and gas, Nigeria relied heavily on minerals. Nigeria was quoted copiously on the London Metal Exchange for tin that comes from Jos. We were quoted for coal from Enugu, columbite. But then when oil and gas took over, we sort of relegated mining to the background. And of course, the result is what we have today. But now we are coming back to that. One, everybody's moving away from fossil fuel. So the era of oil and gas is going down. So we're focusing more on minerals that we have, but not to make the same mistake as we made in oil and gas, because all of these minerals are finite. So whatever you find in the ground has a limit. I mean, it's a fixed sum there, So if you mine it and it finishes, then there's nothing to look for it. So what we're doing is, instead of just mining, we're trying to create value out of that. That is create products that other people need. So instead of our economy relying on minerals or resources and products, we're actually turning into a knowledge economy, and this targeted at the youth. By bringing their know-how, knowledge to transform what we have into other more useful things that have more value to other people. So that's what we are doing, and that awareness, of course, will catch on gradually.
And we're hoping that this will get to those who are really not just the elite youths, like those youths in the rural areas who are at the grassroots.
Yes. So the people that we're training now will go back, and then is taking one person because that's what we can afford, and then logistics again. But we're keeping those people here for about 9 months. But now when that person goes back to the states, they are now in their environment. In collaboration with the state government, they'll be able to spread it. You will now say, okay, maybe you have 5 per local government in a state. Then they'll pick people from the grassroots, also train them, and then, like I said, it expands exponentially that way.
One of the biggest distractions for young persons in Nigeria is to make money. And I think when they don't see that, this is, of course, making money shouldn't be the sole aim of moving into any venture, but it's very, very important. What's the worth of this industry in Nigeria in terms of financial, if we were to put figures to it?
It now becomes something that is of creativity. For instance, for anybody to say, yes, look, it's important for living, you need to earn money. You need to feed, you need to clothe, and a few things, and you can't do that without money. So money is very essential in the equation for people who will go there. So, but to make money in a legitimate way, you must have a skill to sell. Otherwise, our people get involved in nefarious activity. So to prevent that, that's why we are impacting the skills on these people. Train them. When you train them, they are now able to use their skill to earn a living. Now you can't put value to it. For instance, I could buy my own wedding band for, let's say, $50, and somebody else will go there and buy the same another wedding band, in that same market for $10,000. It's still wedding band, and it's created by different people. So your skill set and the value you can bring in this particular industry will determine the value that comes out of it. Somebody could create a design, a jewelry that will be so vast that people will put a lot of value and say, oh, somebody wants to buy it for their anniversary, or somebody comes from outside the country and chooses to buy it for $10,000. The creation of somebody. So be it. So in this particular instance, you can put value because creativity is an add-on to this.
How difficult or easy is it for a young person to start a business that is in the line of what you just talked about, gemstones or even creative jewelry?
Well, mining is not limited to that. So it depends on what you want to do. For the specific ones you have mentioned, you need equipment, which may cost you up to, depends on how you want to start, because the equipment as low as about 50, 100, then as you go. So what we are encouraging, yes, you can go up to 100,000 naira, So what we are trying to do is create collaborative efforts. So what we are doing in Ibadan, for instance, there will be equipment in our gemstone market. There's a lapidary lab there where you can come, use our equipment to create your own the product. Because not everybody will be able to afford and acquire the equipment ab initio. But you see, you can come in there. It's where government has provided facilities. Use the facilities. You have to bring your own raw materials. That's going to be your own contribution as an entrepreneur. Maybe you buy your own raw materials, and then of course, what you create will be yours, and then to sell. You can also sell in that market, or you can take it elsewhere to sell. So that's the kind of thing we are creating in Ibadan and in Kano. For those who are not able to afford the equipment, they can come into those centers and use the facilities provided by government. But with time, that's what I said, with the collaboration of state government and maybe local government, they can also empower a few people, because we would have taken the lead by training people, and then providing equipment for some. The state government can come in and say, look, okay, you've trained 2, 3, 4, 5 people, we're going to train 50 and provide equipment for them and let them train other people. So, like I said, the growth spreads out like that.
Okay. Finally, what are the different industries or branch areas that young persons can tap into to make a business for themselves
In that sector?
Yes.
Well, the sector is about mining and steel development. Steel development is a heavy industry. You need a lot of capital. Youths can acquire knowledge and work in the industry. Maybe not as entrepreneur, but work for other people who have established steel plants. So that's a possibility in that when it comes to steel. When it comes to mining itself, it's a bit intense. But youths can participate because there's something we call small-scale mining. This is where you get a small-scale license and with few equipments, the type that government is actually providing for people. And I must also say at this level that we have what we call funding at 5% interest rate. We'll give funding up to 100 million naira to would-be entrepreneurs. Of course, you must have collateral. So yes, we'll provide this kind of funding so that you can buy your equipment, you can do mining. We have about 44 minerals that have been identified in Nigeria today. And you don't necessarily have to do mining. You can also participate in processing. Entrepreneurs can come in.
Like a chain.
Yes, in the chain, the value addition chain. That's the processing. We call beneficiation. So you can come in, maybe access those loans. Like I said, the loan, because it's very important for payback, you must have collateral. From anything from 10 million, even as low as 2 million, you can borrow at 5% interest rate.
Where can this be accessed?
Okay, it's actually, the money is with the Bank of Industry. You can apply directly to the Bank of Industry. You can also come to the ministry, you'll be guided, or any of the offices in the 36 state locations that we have. We have presence in the 36 states in the country. If you approach them, they'll guide you on how to access this fund. It's a concessionary loan. The interest rate is low and the tenor is long.
How long is it?
Oh, you can have the money for 15 years, yes, to pay back, and it's at 5% per annum. So it's quite good. Any business they're doing that gives you about 10% margin, you can easily pay that loan because you'll be able to pay on the interest and pay down the capital even within the year. So as you pay down the capital, your interest reduces and then you keep making money. So that's why it's put at 5%. Anything from 2 million to 100 million naira.
That sounds good and should encourage any young person in Nigeria. So your final words on where you hope to see young people in your industry in Nigeria in the near future?
Well, young people are the future of this country. Life itself, it's a cycle. We were youths of yesterday, and now we're getting old, and then we'll leave the stage, and other people come on, and it's like that. So, youth needs to be focused. That's the most important thing. Be focused. Think well of your country. That's very important. You see, the easiest thing to do is to criticize and denigrate, and that's what you find a lot of people doing, especially on the social media. To their country. When you run down your own country, nobody's going to run it up for you. So you need to be focused, be trained, and be hopeful, because there is nothing you do that doesn't come with challenges. Everything we do comes with challenges. And once you are able to surmount those challenges, you find yourself on the other side. And that's Eldorado.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're
We've been
welcome.
talking with architect Olamilekan, Adegbite, the Honourable Minister of Mines and Steel Development. Thank you for your time. My name is Eki Obiani.